What is up, loyal lads and ladies? My name is Midnight Wolf, and welcome to another episode of the Wolf on the Field show. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 20-6 win of Oklahoma Sooners over Cincinnati. Now, it was an interesting game. Definitely nerve-wracking. Cincinnati, they definitely did their part to put a scare on us, at least at the halfway point of this game. But thankfully, Oklahoma pulled away. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So just like all of the other reaction videos, I have kind of focused the first part on the opposing team. Just kind of a little bit of encouragement to them. Cincinnati, you guys did an outstanding job making that a game, making Oklahoma earn this win. They had to really figure out this defense and really figure out ways of scheming against them, and they gave our offense some major problems that entire game. 20-6, like, not very many teams have held Oklahoma to just 20 points in recent memory, and they did an outstanding job. So props to Cincinnati for doing their part to making this a really good, solid ball game. Awesome Big 12 opener for both teams. Awesome Big 12 final debut for the Oklahoma Sooners, and awesome Cincinnati debut of Big 12 conference play. So all around, just great performance. You know, like 20 points, you know, it definitely shows that the offense struggled. But they had a lot of good things to say on the offensive side as well. I mean, yes, I think that's just a testament to how good Cincinnati's defense is. I think that Cincinnati could give a lot of teams major problems. And as far as the Cincinnati offense, they did exactly what I predicted in the preview of this game earlier this morning, because I was a little late getting to my preview. But they did exactly what I predicted in the red zone. They could not find the touchdown. They had so many opportunities, and it's like they can march down the field, no problem, but then they get to that red zone and they don't know what to do with it once they got there. So that is something that Cincinnati is definitely going to need to figure out, is how to score a touchdown when they reach the end zone, or when they reach the red zone, rather. Oklahoma defense did an outstanding job. They did a lot better than what I was expecting. I was expecting a 9-point game on the defensive side of the ball, and they did better. They got it down to 6 points. Like, that is awesome. We got 2 turnovers. We gave up a turnover, but we got 2 turnovers, so we won the turnover battle. And that means that we have gotten a turnover in, I think, all 4 of our games, if I remember right. So that is a great feeling, because we know what a turnover drought looks like all too often. So amazing job at finding the ball. Danny Stutzman is a stud. He is all over the field. He is making tackles left and right. He knows how to play defense. So that guy is special. I really, really love seeing that man play. He does an outstanding job of wherever the football goes, he's very close behind it. So major props to Danny Stutzman for another great performance. And there's not really a whole lot you can really critique about the defense. I mean, all the times that Cincinnati was able to get those bigger plays and get down the field was either a few mental errors in terms of penalties, as well as probably a little bit of fatigue, if we're being honest, because our offense did struggle a little bit in that game. And they, you know, a solid team unit is one where the offense can stay on the field for enough time to allow the defense to get well rested for the next drive. And there was a little bit too many 3 and outs and or just terrible first down conversions, or not conversions, but terrible first down plays, in my opinion, where we kept getting either sacked or tackles for loss on our very first play of every drive, it seemed like. And it really seemed like we were struggling of getting things going on the first play. It's like we couldn't figure out first down, or the first down of each drive. And it would be really nice if we could kind of get that figured out, figure out what our first play is going to be and execute it well, because there was just a lot of drives or a lot of series of downs that we just seemed to struggle on that first down. So if we could figure out ways of getting positive yards on first downs, it's going to make your second and third down conversions that much easier. So hopefully we could get that ironed out on the offense. But I mean, once again, props to the Cincinnati defense for doing a good job at stopping us on those first down plays, because that is definitely where we struggled, I think, the most on the offense, is getting the ball moving. So hopefully we can get that figured out. Dillon Gabriel, he looked fairly poised. I mean, there was some mental errors, I think, on his part, a couple of overthrown passes. He definitely started to, at the halfway point of the game, looked a little bit more like last year's Dillon Gabriel than this year's, which was kind of concerning. I'm hoping that he can figure something out going forward in that regards, because we need a guy who can handle pressure, and he's going to get pressured whenever we play teams like Texas and other really solid defensive teams. So we need to figure something out there, I think, with Dillon Gabriel. He needs to kind of settle down, keep making good decisions and not trying to force anything. I thought he ran the ball really well. Whenever he did finally decide to start doing a little bit more running, I thought he ran really well. So props to his running ability. Hopefully he can improve in that regards as well. So overall, great performance there. But hey, another game we've covered the spread in. So we are 4-0 on covering the spread. So that, I think it was a 12.5, if I remember right. That was like the last spread that I saw for this game. So another game where Oklahoma was able to cover the spread. Very low scoring game for an Oklahoma Sooners game. That was very low scoring, but still, there's not much bad you can say just because of how dominant the defense looked. And I hope this is an indicator that this is a solid defense. So I still think we need a little bit more information on this Oklahoma football team to know whether or not we are playoff ready. But we very much, depending on how other games go this week, we could, if we're not in the top 10, I definitely can see ourselves looking probably on the outside looking in kind of situation. So I would not be surprised if we ended up ranked 11 in the next AP poll update. So major props to this Sooner defense and Sooner team. I think that we have something special. Speaking of special, the special teams was a little underwhelming, but they're not gonna, special teams is not going to be elite every single game. That's just, I mean, it's not very often that you get major special teams plays in every single game. So we're going to have lower special teams performances in future games. It's just kind of the nature of it. Teams will see that and do everything they can to prevent solid special teams plays, because special teams is arguably just as important as offense and defense. So we can't be discouraged that it didn't look that good, because that might have been part of Cincinnati's game plan, is stopping the special teams. So major props to Cincinnati for really, like, the areas that we've been the strongest, they've been able to at least weaken us in some way, shape, or form. So I mean, I keep praising Cincinnati. I really think Cincinnati's a solid football team. Their last game didn't really suggest a solid good football team, but I think they were looking ahead, and clearly they put up a good show on their defensive game. This all around was a great defensive performance on both sides. So I think that Cincinnati will be a pretty solid Big 12 contender this year. Maybe not for the championship, but I think that they'll win a lot of games this year. I hope they do. I've been really pushing for Cincinnati for quite some time now, especially whenever there was talks of leaving them out of the playoffs a couple of years back. So I think highly of Cincinnati. I respect Cincinnati, and I think that they are a solid football team. And yeah, no, it was a great looking game. It was a nail biter for a little bit there, but eventually Oklahoma pulled away, and that's what matters. I mean, it's been a weird year of college football. A lot of really, really close games that normally in years past would have been complete blowouts. So I like that. I love that there's really not a dominant team. Really the playoff spots, for one, I think are up for grabs by, like, any slot. I think is up for grabs, and I think that the national trophy, the national championship trophy, will be up for grabs as well. Honestly, like, I want to keep Georgia in the top 4 just because they are the reigning champions 2 years in a row. But I would probably put them at number 4 unless they can prove otherwise this week and in subsequent weeks as well. So, I mean, that's another take I have, but we'll see how they do. I don't even know who they played today, if they even do play. They may have a bye or something, because I don't remember seeing their game showing up on the ESPN. So I don't know. But I think that it's up for grabs this year. I don't think there's any team that really just stands out, and I think that is a great thing for this sport. I can't stand dynasties that just go on and on and on. So the fact that teams that normally have been in the playoff conversation the last decade or two has been kind of held back, and I love that. I think that, teams like Alabama, even Clemson is struggling. I just saw that they lost to Florida State in overtime. So I mean, these teams that we're used to seeing, they're starting to struggle a little bit. We'll see how Ohio State does against Notre Dame. That's a game coming up here soon. We'll see how Oregon handles Colorado. I personally think that Colorado is overrated. Like, I don't know. They could prove me wrong. If Colorado is going to prove me wrong at any point in the season, it's this game right here. If they can handle Oregon well and at least make it a close game, definitely covering the spread, if that happens, I will respect Colorado a whole lot more. But it's kind of like Oklahoma's opening 3 games. It's like, who have we played? same sort of thing with Colorado. And up until today, there's really not like anything to really ride home about on Colorado's side. So I think that we need a little bit more information there. So I'm kind of going into a little bit more of other teams right now, but I mean, yeah, no, I'm really excited, and I think that yeah, that Natty Trophy is up for grabs. I hope that we're the ones that are able to find a way to get it this year, but time will tell. We definitely have some issues that we've got to get cleaned up before then, and yeah, I think that we have something possibly in the works. So at least make it to that playoff. I would love for another playoff. Oh, what's the word? I lost it. Playoff attendance, for lack of a better word. Wow, I completely blanked there. So, anyways, yeah, no, I'm just overall excited about what this season holds, and we'll see how we do against Iowa State next week. Judging by how things have looked, I don't think Iowa State is good this year. That being said, there are teams that haven't looked good in years past that have been able to beat Oklahoma, and Oklahoma that is a potential playoff candidate. And I really hope that's not the game, especially where it lands on the schedule. That has me a little concerned. Like, I feel like there's going to be so much hype surrounding Texas if they can beat Baylor today and Kansas next week. And if we can go and beat Iowa State next week, there's going to be a lot of hype surrounding these two programs, and it's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to see what happens. So that's why I'm a little worried about Iowa State, in the fact that it just so happens to be right before Texas, and I just don't want our Sooners to look too far ahead to that game and forget that they need to show up to every single game. So hopefully that happens, and we'll see what happens next week. So I definitely will do a preview, hopefully a lot sooner in the week than I did this week. I had some things come up that kind of pushed my preview to this morning, and so I hopefully will have more time this week to be able to do a preview. I want to try I'm trying to get it set up on Thursdays. I think that's a good solid day. It's just before any college football is played, or there might be like some smaller games that are played on Thursdays every once in a while, but it'd be nice. That I think to me, I think Thursday is the perfect time to do a preview. So anyways, I'm rambling on, and yeah, I do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to kind of see how I think my Sooners are doing. And if you guys do enjoy this kind of thing, and reaction videos, I'm definitely going to do everything I can to do one after every game, either the day of or the day after. And so it depends on like kind of what time that game takes place. If it's a late game, it's probably going to be the next day. That way I have a little bit of time to kind of process what I watch. So, but yeah, there we go. 20-6. I mean, it's not the prettiest win, but a win is a win. And that's an indicator that we have a solid defense. So I just hope that we can continue that and move forward with it. So awesome win. Congrats, Oklahoma and Cincinnati. Don't give up. Keep playing well. You guys played us very well today, and I want you guys to do the best that you guys can the rest of the season. And who knows, maybe a rematch could happen later on. So we'll see what happens. So anyways, Boomer Sooner, and you guys enjoy the rest of your college football day, and I will catch you guys next week.